People will never, ever, ever remember what you say, but they will always, always, always remember how you made them feel. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Freestyle Friday, where it is just me, you, the mic, and the camera. Yes, I started saying the camera a couple episodes ago, and I just feel like I have to welcome the camera because we're putting all these episodes out on YouTube as well. So if you're listening to this on the podcast and you're like, hey, I wish I could watch this on YouTube, then go to YouTube. It's at travischappell.com/YouTube. Make it really plain and simple for you. Today, I am going to be talking about how to network at events. And this is a pretty high level, meaning like blimp view style stuff. If you want some really in-depth training on how to really network at events and maximize your time at events, I do have an entire training that is on that. So just reach out to me separately. I don't sell it anywhere. I use it as something that is part of a different training program, which you can find out more about at travischappell.com/yes. If you really want to learn more about it, it's definitely worth it. But anyway, that's all I'll say about that. You can go to travischappell.com/yes if you like some of the things that you hear in this episode. But this is just pretty high level stuff, and I want to talk to you about events because I think that we're seeing a trend toward things that used to be the things that worked really well, and then they fell off the scene because of new things that came up, and now they're coming back onto the scene because people realize that they were actually a really effective way to do it, and now they're almost the differentiators, the things that make you stand out. And I was at Podcast Movement recently, and Pat Flynn, who is a buddy of mine, he's a top-rated podcaster, blogger. He's got a couple 100,000 subscribers on YouTube now. He's just all over the place. He creates amazing content, and he does a really, really good job with it. And he was launching a new book of his. He's also a multiple-time best-selling author. Go figure. And somebody asked him during that talk, hey, where do you see things going in the future in terms of social media and ways to communicate with customers and ways to create content and things like that? And it was funny because his answer he gave at that event was one thing, and then his answer that he gave later was another thing. So the answer that he gave later was email, and email has been around for the last 20 years. And basically he was saying that we're seeing almost like a reversion, if that's a word, back to email being the most important thing when it comes to marketing and reaching your target market and your clients, because it's the only thing that we have real control over. All other platforms, we are at the mercy of the person running the platform, the person that creates the algorithms for the platforms. And so email is the only thing that we truly own and have and can keep. And so he said there's a huge emphasis on email now. But the answer that he gave at Podcast Movement at the event was events, running live events and being at live events. That's a thing that he thinks a lot of people are going to be moving toward in the future, and which was good for me to hear because I'm running my first live event here in November in Vegas, which, by the way, if you haven't gotten a ticket to yet, please go to buildyournetworklive.com and grab a spot to that. But I found that super interesting because there's so many, other strides. There's so many things that have come out in the last decade of ways to communicate with your customer and ways to build your business and your platform. And so it was interesting to me to hear him talk about something that's been happening for literally decades and decades. It's been around for a really long time. And I think it's just because you can never replace an in-person connection with another human being. And so that's why I think events are so important. And that's why I think knowing how to navigate events is also really important. And I forget that some people don't live in the same world as I do, meaning that a lot of the things that I see, because I study this on a daily basis, they are geared towards the new way of networking. And I recently went on, I think it was Eventbrite or maybe meetup.com. I forget exactly what platform it was, but I went on one of those to look at some local Vegas business meetups. And man, it was just so much of the old way of networking still. Hey, come to this event, meet other people. Don't forget your business cards. Literally, like one of the lines in one of the posts that I was looking at said, make sure you bring enough business cards or something like that. And I was like, well, that's definitely not the event for me. I'm not going to resonate with a ton of those people because it's just a bunch of networking neds in a social circle that are trying to get business from other people instead of build real relationships with the people that are there. And it was interesting to me that there's so many resources out there on how to do it the right way, and people are still stuck in the 1980s version. So I think that it's really beneficial to go to events, but if you do take your time to go to an event, like that's a big deal. Not only does the event cost money, like it is an investment in and of itself, just the ticket for the event, but then you have the hotel and then you have the flights, not to mention, if it's a 3-day event, you have the day before to travel there, the day after to travel back. You're taking a bunch of days away from your main business, your income stream, to go to this event. So you better make sure that you make the most of your time while you're there. And if you don't know how to network and when you get to the event, then you're just going to be wasting your time and you're going to be wasting your money, and you're not going to be maximizing a tool that could really help you build your business more effectively. So here's a couple of things for me. Like I said, the super high level blimp view of networking at events. First off, prep beforehand. Don't fly blind into the event. Don't show up to the event and find out who the speakers are day one. Do research, find out who all the speakers are, figure out ways to connect with the higher level people that are there. Figure out some of the other attendees, maybe look at who some of the sponsors are. Do research on the sponsors. Do prep beforehand that's going to allow you to maximize your time while you're there. Maybe you want to connect with one of the speakers, then take the time to, go see, okay, this event is happening. Let's take my event, for example, and let's say you want to connect with Brad Lee or Steve Sims or one of the other people that's going to be speaking at my event, and it's in November, and you're listening to this and it's September or October, and you can look in the future and say that those people are going to be there. Take the time right now to sit down and write out like a handwritten note, a thank you note or something, and put something thoughtful in there. Send it out to those speakers and let them know that you're going to be at the event, that you're going to be looking for them. That way, when you go up to the event and you meet them, you're not just another person that met them at the event. You're actually a person that has previously communicated and done something above and beyond what other people have done to differentiate yourself from everybody else at the event. And sometimes it might not work, but at least it's a conversation starter. Bare minimum. Like, they may not even get it, or maybe their assistant got it and didn't show it to them, or whatever it is, but at least bare minimum, it's a conversation starter, because you can go up to them and say, hey, did you ever get that note that I mailed? Did you ever get that gift card? Did you ever get that watch? Whatever you send them, whatever you put into their hands, a physical thing that you put into their hands, whatever it is, hey, did you ever get that thing? And then if they did or if they didn't, it's still a great segue into a conversation. So do some prep beforehand, whatever that means to you. Second of all, look for other meetups or potential parties or opportunities to connect with people on a more intimate level that maybe even aren't a part of the event. The best times for me at events have been on activities or parties that have been just planned by some of the other attendees at the event. And those have been some of the greatest times. Like we'll have the quote unquote, cocktail party or whatever, the networking reception, whatever they call it, at these events. And it lasts until 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. And then there's always a group of people that go do something after that. If you can get in with some of those groups of people and start building real memories and experiences that last during those times, instead of squandering it with a little thing called sleep, then you should definitely be taking advantage of those opportunities. I tell people sleep is for after and before events. It's not for during events. So if you can help it at all, try to make sure that you are willing to stay up a little bit later, drink that extra cup of coffee, and make stuff happen so that you can connect with people and maximize the time that you have while you're there at the event. And then number 3. Let others talk. I was just going to say shut up, but I think that sounds a little too harsh. So I say let others talk, meaning that when you connect with other people, don't make it an elevator pitch about what you do and why they should do business with you. Ask good questions, ask insightful questions, and try to get the other people to talk. People will never, ever, ever remember what you say, but they will always, always, always remember how you made them feel. And so if you take the time to be genuinely curious and interested in what that person is doing or in what that person is about, what their main mission in life is, and you ask really good, thought-provoking, interesting questions to this person, then they're going to leave that interaction with you thinking, man, this guy made me feel good about myself. And if you can leave that feeling with them, then that's what they're going to remember when you follow up with them. The feeling that you gave them, not necessarily the tip or strategy that you threw out there to try to make yourself look cool, or the fact that you talked and you were way over controlling the conversation. Like, you want them to not think about those things. You want them to make them feel like they were heard, like they like their message matters and that you truly understand and care and be genuine about that. So let others do the talking. Be interested, not interesting. And I think that you'll have a lot more success. So there's 3 just quick off the top things. First off, prep beforehand. Secondly, look for the potential opportunities to have meetups or parties or anything like that. Number 3, let others do the talking. And if you can do those 3 things, you'll be have a great head start on a lot of people. Like I said, I have a whole training on this, which you can find out more about at travischappell.com/yes. And if you are looking to implement some of these strategies at an event, then please go to buildyournetworklive.com and grab a spot to my live event out here in Las Vegas, November 8th through the 10th of 2019 at Top Golf behind MGM. It's going to be a fantastic time, and I can't wait to see you out here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.